strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes, you better call me a doctor. I'm feeling no pain. Well, hold on. Maybe that's something else that I'm talking about there. Anyways, how are you doing on this fantastic Monday? Yeah, it's Monday, October the 17th of 2022, day 290th. Of the year, just in case you weren't sure, and only 75 days left to go. Yep, 75 days is how it sounds. That's exactly what is going on. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at. Yeah, you know, that place that we do stuff.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, we are hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm. In case you were wondering, you know, that is actually being distributed on iHeartRadio. In case you were wondering on what is going on over there, that happens on that side of the equation. So anyways, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun, anything exciting, anything that you wanted to brag about? Because if you want to brag, you have the opportunity of doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. So let's talk about this real quick, because I think that I need to reference this because I haven't talked about it in quite some time. If you are hanging out with us, and you're not sure on how to do the audio alone, and you want to jump around and do some of those things, it's kind of easy to do so. You can take a listen to us at our Safety FM app, which is available on the Google Play Store, and also available at the Apple App Store. Yes, I always have the hardest time saying Apple App Store. So it's available there as well. And then the other option is that if you want to hang out with the Radio Big side of the house, there is a Radio Big app that's available. There is also the TuneIn Radio app that you can take a listen to us right there. And we are also available on the iHeartRadio app. So there is plenty of ways of taking a listen to the sounds. And then, of course, if you're watching the video stream, yes, that thing right there, you can take a view at us on most major social media platforms. But if you want to take a look at it, how it comes off of our website, you go to safetyfm.com, and that is under the section that says visual. Yes, visual radio. Anyways, I'm glad that we got all those pleasantries out of the way, and let's start talking right away about what was going on inside of the world of the trends.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Saturday was National Sweeties Day, so what does that mean? I guess you were supposed to have some Sweetie Eaties if you wanted to do that. Also, hashtag Capture the Moment was trending on Saturday after the San Diego Padres beat the LA Dodgers to advance to the National League Championship. I hope you care about that, because I don't. Sunday was Steve Jobs Day, just in case you didn't know that. And then hashtag Boycott Ultra was trending on Sunday as some Twitter users rallied to boycott the beauty company for promoting their product to the transgender community. Yes, some people were saying that because they were actually promoting their product to the transgender community. And then, of course, also Halloween Ends was trending over the weekend as the scary movie fans flocked to the theater to watch the latest chapter of Michael Myers. So, without ruining this movie for you, I don't know if you're a Halloween fan, but I'm going to tell you what I think here. So I watched it. It's about an hour and 50 minutes long. I am going to reference a couple of different things, and it's non-spoiler. It does take about 40 minutes before Michael Myers even shows up on the screen. So that's one reference there. And I'm talking about in the new iteration, not like backstory stuff. And last to this, it legitimately looks like there might have been some people that had got on a phone call and said, hey, do you have a movie that you want to do? And they said, yes. Is it all written out? And the person said no. Then the other person said, hey, listen, I have this Halloween movie that I'm trying to put together, and I have the ending part. Do you want to merge both of these movies together and move forward with that? And that's what that movie is. Because there is no way that somebody could have thought that that was a good idea for a finale movie. Now, keep in mind, when I say finale movie, we are being sold a bill of goods that this is supposed to be the last movie in a trilogy here of Halloween's. You know, and I was taking a look at this last night and going over this. Essentially, with the Halloween movies and Michael Myers, there is 5 different timelines that you can go through with the 13 movies. Yes, 5 different timelines depending on how you want to look at it. Now, probably I won't go into too much discussion here on this show because I don't want to bore you half to death because this is a safety show. You know, we talk about safety stuff. But if you want to hang around for hour 2 that we do on Radio Big, you can hang around. We'll talk a little bit about that because I'm still kind of mind-boggled on some of that. And we'll talk about how some of those sequences work in regards of some of it. But, you know, I'm going to tell you, I am a huge Halloween movie fan, you know, and I'm talking about that particular reference of those movies, but I just didn't think that the last part lived up to what I was expecting. Now, I will tell you that the first Halloween that came out in 2018, not the one from 1978, I thought that it set up this trilogy sequence to be very good on what was going to happen, but unfortunately, it fizzled out, as things do tend to happen from time to time. But anyways, let's get off of that horse real quick, and let's move forward and talk about some things that are important. We talk here about safety in the news and safety, so let's get you started with the sequence of what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news, because I think that that's important to do. So let's do that right now. Let's get into some news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Trey Thomas. NATO is starting its annual nuclear exercise today. The nuclear drills involve up to 60 aircraft, including advanced fighter jets, surveillance, and tanker aircraft. The U.S. will provide B-52 bombers. The aircraft will fly over Belgium, the U.K., and the North Sea. This comes as Russian President Vladimir Putin has raised the specter of using nuclear weapons in Ukraine, following major military setbacks. Georgia Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker is defending his use of an apparent sheriff's badge in a debate last week. He tells NBC it's a legitimate honorary badge from the sheriff's department in his hometown.
Everyone can make fun, but this badge give me the right, and let me finish, if anything happened in this county, I have the right to work with the police and get things done.
Walker has never held a job in law enforcement, but has used his honorary badge to show support for police. He's facing off against Democrat incumbent Raphael Warnock in a tight race that could determine which party controls the Senate. A new report shows most police agencies have increased funding despite calls to defund the police following the murder of George Floyd. An ABC News investigation of more than 100 law enforcement agencies across the country found 90% of cities and counties increased spending for police between the fiscal years 2021 and 2022. A Russian official says the detention of WNBA star Brittany Griner isn't a priority for the Kremlin, despite President Biden repeatedly pushing for her release. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Want the planet's best rock. Best rock. There's no one left to save you now. We're free. Radio. It.
From Feature Story News in Hong Kong, I'm Richard Kimber. China's leader Xi Jinping is vowing to steer the country toward national rejuvenation as part of his opening speeches at the 20th Communist Party Congress. He's also calling on North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un for more communication and cooperation amid international concern over a new nuclear weapons test there. And Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is refraining from visiting Tokyo's controversial war-linked Yasukuni Shrine, which is in the midst of its autumn festival.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Rated R Safety Show.
Arizona candidate for governor Kari Lake is standing by her claims that the 2020 presidential election was stolen.
We had 740,000 ballots with no chain of custody. Those ballots shouldn't have been counted.
When asked to provide evidence for the claim on CNN State of the Union, Lake did not mention a specific source. She went on to say that the problem is the media won't cover supposed 2020 election fraud and that Americans have a First Amendment right to question election results. Elon Musk appears to have had a change of heart, agreeing to keep his satellite internet service in Ukraine. The SpaceX CEO recently asked the Pentagon to foot the bill for roughly 20,000 Starlink satellites being used for Ukraine's military operations. This came after Musk suggested Ukraine concede some of its land to Russia. In a weekend tweet, the Tesla CEO now says he'll continue to fund the project, even though Starlink is still losing money. Ukraine's ambassador to the U.S. says the global response should be very harsh if Russia carries out a nuclear strike on her country.
This is a clear red line. This is on what the whole security infrastructure of Europe and global is.
Appearing on CBS's Face the Nation, Ambassador Oksana Markarova said Russian President Putin's threats should be taken seriously, and the repercussions of a nuclear attack would endanger all of Europe. The latest installment in a long-running slasher film franchise is this week's top movie in North America. Halloween Ends earned just over $41 million in its debut weekend in theaters in the U.S. and Canada. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you. We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Oh, I love it when audio sequencing is not so sequenced as one would expect. So these are the things that happens as you're doing it in real time. But hey, that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. Don't worry about that. I'll make sure to take care of you as we are hanging out and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. Anyways, currently 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and having all kinds of fun times as we are doing the things that we do. Anyway, so a lot of stuff that I'm seeing here around and about and all that kind of fun stuff. So what do I want to talk about? What do I want to do? Well, let's talk about what the hell is going on according to the hit list, because that seems like to be the thing that we need to talk about. What else would I talk about if I wasn't talking about the hit list? So here we go. On Friday, Elon Musk said that SpaceX could no longer afford to front the cost of providing satellite internet to Ukraine through the Starlink service. He noted that providing the service will cost the company about $100 million by the end of the year. Musk called the Department of Defense to pick up the tab, especially since Starlink is powering the Ukraine's military operation. But wait! Just a day later, Musk changed the course. He tweeted, "The hell with it. Even though Starlink is losing money and other companies are getting billions of taxpayer money, we'll just keep funding Ukraine's government for free." So it's interesting that the previous news report didn't reference how much money it was, but that particular one does. So that's kind of an interesting one as we are talking and moving and grooving and all the fun stuff that we get to do there. So what do you think about it? What does it make you think of when you hear that? Because here's the gig. If you're funding that kind of money, you're taking that as a loss, and I know that you're helping other people. Then some people go, but he's the richest guy in the world, so what do you think? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of mixed reaction action when it comes to it.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. A drunken dust-up with police outside of Berlin, Germany, but when an inverted spin on a common neighborhood issue in which a man is accused of biting a dog. Yeah, you heard me correctly. A man biting a dog. The Associated Press reports that the police were called to intervene during an argument between a man, a woman, and her dog. The police reports that says that the cops used a massive physical force to detain the man, and also notes that in the brawl, the man bit the police dog. Fortunately, the pooch didn't have any injuries. No word yet if the bite was minimal to the animal. So I'm trying to think about this. I have never been so upset that I thought that I should bite a dog. I don't know. It just kind of makes me go, not something I would do. Anyways, the Nigerian city of Igbo-Ora just wrapped its annual festival celebrating the town's strange birth rate of twins, where in the United States is estimated 33 out of 1,000 births include twins, and about half of the rate in that in Europe. This town boasts 158 sets of twins for every 1,000 births. There's not yet a conclusive study for why this happens, but some suggest that it may have to do with the food that is made in yam flour in the area, which could boost the hormones in pregnant women that leads to off-the-chart fertility. So hold on. What is it that we're looking at? What kind of food? There's not a yet yam flour. So note to self, stay away from the yam.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, a group of three professional golfers have established the record for most holes of golf completed at par or under in less than 3 minutes. 3 LPGA competitors completed the feat, cycling through 6 times in 17 holes in Canada, Ottawa, and the golf club to within the time allotted. Since then, a new certified record Guinness insisted of the time constraints and that the distance from the tee and the holes are 160 yards. So hold on. So how the hell did they do? How do they do this in less than 3 minutes? I would like to know. I would like to have a better understanding because that seems awfully quick. I mean, this is run, let's run. Okay, amid the summer travel chaos for long lines and short staff, countless airline passengers reported missing of lost luggage in the fray. Many got wise using simple trackers like Apple AirTags, putting on a small disc is for good practical instead of the creepy stalking people. For the first time in decades, passengers had a bit of power or leverage over the indifferent airline staff. So there you go. But wait, one airline has already tried to ban the little devices because the customers was getting too much power. Lufthansa said that the devices do not meet safety regulations regarding transmitting devices and cannot be included in suitcase and bags. The plot thickens, though. The uproar was swift and immediate. Lufthansa backtracked and said in a statement that they're tracking devices with very low battery and transmission power, if checked luggage, do not pose safety risk, and that these devices are allowed on their flights. So there you go. I mean, it's kind of an interesting one. And how familiar are you with the AirTags? If you have not used one, the AirTags are pretty interesting if I'm giving it to you 100 here. Because the reason that I say this is because the way that they're able to get down to linear levels of finding where the hell the stuff is and how your phone will tell you exactly what you need to do to find the device is quite significant as well. So some stuff to think about as we are hanging out. Anyways, with that being said, let's continue talking because there's always some fun stuff that we can do here. I think it's time because, you know, we have always some market talks to do about. Let's bring in some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell us about what the hell is going on in the market beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, October 17th, 2022. Equities fell to a new low last week, rebounded strongly, hit resistance, and fell again to end the week down ahead of the first busy week of the Q3 earnings season. The move was driven by a hotter-than-expected CPI report that led to a technical bounce from key support. The takeaway is the market is unsure of what to make of the news, although the downtrend is still intact. This week, investors should brace for another test of the 3,500 level, and if it's broken, another 5% to 10% decline in the index. Earnings reports will be front and center this week, but so too will be the economic data. The data ranges from housing to manufacturing to the Fed's Beige Book and the Index of Leading Indicators, which is expected to be negative for the 6th consecutive month. The takeaway is the market downturn is not over, and this week could bring renewed volatility. You could get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for that information right there as we are hanging out. The Dow lost about 403 points on Friday to close at 29,634. The S&P lost about 86 points to close at 3,583. And the NASDAQ lost about 327 points to close at 10,321. West Texas Intermediate fell to $85 and Brent crude slid to 91. The national average price of a gallon of gas is now at $3.88 as of Sunday. Bitcoin was mostly flat on Sunday, just about $70 and trading just north of $19,000. And there was 1,926 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and about 76 cancellations in total, in case you were wondering about what the hell was going on right there. What else is going on? Let's talk about what the hell was going on inside of the box office, because we need to do that. And number 10 was Top Gun Maverick with $685,000. And number 9, Terrifier 2 with $850,000. And number 8 was Bros with $920,000. And number 7 was Barbarian with $1.4 million. And number 6, Don't Worry, Darling, $2.1 million. And number 5, Amistad was $2.8 million. The Woman King, $3.6 million. Lyle Crocodile was at $7.3 million. And number 2 was Smile. It was down from the number 1 spot to $12.4 million. And at number 1, just in case you missed it, didn't know about it because you didn't hear us talk about it earlier, Halloween Ends with $41.2 million. Now listen, I'm going to tell you, when you are putting your stuff out on a streaming service on your same day of release that is going to the theater, you're going to lose some money, honey. Just the way that it goes. And why do I say that? Well, think about this for a moment. How are you not going to lose money if you're releasing it on a streaming service and also expecting people to pay for it? Because listen, $10 is much cheaper than going and paying for the whole fam, if you're taking your fam, to go watch this thing. I mean, let's just be realistic. It's really what it boils down to. So there you go. Anyways, let's start talking real quick. The Parkland, Florida school shooter sentenced to life without the possibility of parole is drawing backlash at the state highest level. Natalie Rodriguez reports.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is calling for changes to the Sunshine State's death penalty law. He expressed frustrations during a rally in Coral Springs over last week's decision by a Broward jury for Nicholas Cruz's life without parole verdict for the deaths of 17 people at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High in 2018.
That was a miscarriage of justice.
Until 2016, a majority rule was required in Florida to recommend a death penalty. The laws in Florida changed in 2017 to require a unanimous decision. Natalie Rodriguez, Miami.
So what's your thoughts on that one? Because that one makes it kind of an interesting one. Do you think that it should have just been, okay, let's move forward? Or not whatsoever. Anyways, NATO is launching its annual nuclear exercise today. Rory O'Neill has some more information.
Called Steadfast Noon, the nuclear drills involve using dozens of aircraft, including advanced fighter jets, surveillance, and tanker aircraft, training over Belgium, the North Sea, and Britain. The drills do not involve live bombs, but come as Russian President Vladimir Putin has raised the specter of using nuclear weapons in Ukraine following major military setbacks. I'm Rory O'Neill.
Okay, thank you, Rory O'Neill, for that information right there as we are hanging out. Anyways, gas prices are starting the week off right where they were over the weekend. Trey Thomas has some more information.
AAA puts today's nationwide average cost of a gallon of regular unleaded at $3.88. That's unchanged from yesterday. Drivers in California, where prices are the highest, are paying $6.05 on average. Georgia is the cheapest place in the country to fill up at $3.25 per gallon. I'm Trey Thomas.
I mean, that's just crazy. $6.05. Yeah, let's go down there to the 605 gas station because there's just no way. I took the 405 to get $6.05 gas. Can you imagine that? Like, just envision that for a moment. Unless you already live in California, then you don't have to envision it because you're seeing the shit right there live and in living color. There is no doubt about that.
Duh.
So some stuff to think about. Anyways, take a listen to this real quick. Residents in one of the Fort Worth neighborhoods say that they are getting fed up with the activities of someone that they're calling Edward Scissorhands. Trey Thomas has more.
The unidentified man is trimming their trees in the middle of the night without their permission. One resident has caught him on surveillance video around 3 a.m. He's reportedly trimmed about a dozen trees on 3 streets, and it may cause a problem with the HOA. Neighbors say they found police reports, but it's unknown if he'll face any charges if caught. I'm Trey Thomas.
Wouldn't that be considered vandalizing? I mean, I'm just asking the question because it sounds like that to me, but then again, what do I know? I'm not from Texas and I'm not part of your HOA, so there you go. And when I say I'm not from Texas, just because I lived there at some point in my life does not mean that I'm from there, which I always think that is kind of interesting because I have a lot of people that say, aren't you from Texas? what was it, 15 years or something crazy like that? I don't even remember. Anyways, the University of Tennessee is getting hit with a $100,000 fine for fans storming the field after the football team's upset win over Alabama on Saturday in Knoxville. Trey Thomas has some more.
The fine comes from the Southeastern Conference, which cites a violation of the league's access to competition area policy. It's also the school's second offense. Thousands of fans poured onto the field following the win, even tearing down one of the goalposts. Alabama had been ranked as the top team in the nation and has since dropped to 6th in the coaches poll. Tennessee jumped from 8th to 4th. I'm Trey Thomas.
So there you go. Oh my God, somebody lost a game. Some people won a game because they crossed over a line. How exciting is that stuff? I don't get the excitement behind it, but I guess people do get excited. Anyways, it is currently 32 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, yes, lovely, lovely Monday as we are doing our thing on a Monday. Yes, a Monday where we get to do things. Because what else would you want to be doing on things that you could be doing that are not days that you could be doing stuff? I know it gets kind of confusing when we start talking about it in that fashion. Anyways, I think it's time to do the thing that we get to do. So let's get to what we would normally do during this time because we're doing it right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So, we have to talk. It's been one of those weekends where we get together, we do stuff, and we have to come together and go, what is going to happen next? So, as we start talking, we are, we have transitioned out of COVID. We are now in the month of October. We're getting in towards the end of the year. And now we're starting to hear, that flu season is picking up again. We're starting to see that, depending on where you're hanging out, there's different strands that are coming out with some COVID stuff. And you start taking a look of flu season, COVID, and you start taking a look at both of those things as they meet together and go, okay, there are some symptoms that seem a little similar. There are some symptoms that might cross paths as we're starting to get towards this time of the year. And it's just kind of the way that it goes. So you are aware that certain safety protocols are going to be put in place or should be put in place at your place of work. So the question becomes, over the last couple of years, it's been one of those weird things where if people were showing flu-like symptoms, there was a requirement from most organizations that people to come back with a negative COVID test. So as you look at this right now, how are you thinking about this for this year? How are you thinking about this to be able to move forward? Because that we just came out of some of that stuff. So there's still going to be some lingering. Flu season is flu season because that happens every year, it feels like. So will you be requiring, as part of where you're located, for somebody to turn in a negative COVID test? Now, the question becomes very, very interesting as this comes about because there's a lot of things to think about here. Are you violating someone's rights because you're requesting this? Or do you look at it and go, I'm not really violating anything. I'm just trying to find out information to make sure that everybody else is all-righty-ighty as they're moving forward. It becomes a different twist of things because, listen, I look at it this way. You don't want it, regardless of what it is, for someone to come to work sick. And why do I say this? Because the moment that they come in sick, if they spread it to somebody else and somebody else and somebody else, now you have this relay of things where all of a sudden, you're kind of screwed because everybody's sick. Then the other thing comes about of, some people might not have vacation time. They might not have any time available to take off for illnesses. And this has been a topic of conversation that we've had on this show before. So what do you do? Because listen, there are people that will come to work ill with the intent of being sent home because they don't want to use a sick day or a vacation day, or they don't have a sick day or a vacation day. Is it the wrong thing? I don't know. Is it the right thing? I don't know. But there's a lot of stuff to think about there. And which one do you think that is right? Now, you can take a look at this and go, what is the HR policy that's inside of your organization? And that's okay to talk about. But also at the same time, too, you have to look at this and go, is that the right way to handle this? And listen, we're going to sit here and I'm sure for the next few years still have this COVID conversation, because it was 2 years that made people go, what the freak is going on with the world being in lockdown? I mean, think about it. There was at one point in your life, if you were authorized to roam the streets, you would notice that there was nobody out there. Yeah, no one, not nobody, not no one. Yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So how do you look at this? And what is the policy that you have at your job? It's an interesting one to think about. And if you don't have something in place currently, how long before you put something in place? Because as you heard, as I was saying at the very top of the show, we are getting close to the end of the year. And these flu-like symptoms normally tend to get worse during this time. And where will there be that weird thing where people get confused that it's one thing over another? That is really the question to talk about. So as you give that some thought today, maybe there's one way or another of something of you to come up with before it's all said and done. Just one of those things to think about. Anyways, currently 37 minutes past the top of the hour. We are still hanging and banging on the Rated R Safety Show, but sometimes we have to do some other things.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN. Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you. Okay, there you go. Currently 43 minutes past the top of the hour. Yeah, this one's, well, matter of fact, you are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show before I get into the next thing. Coming across on Radio Big and Safety FM. Let's see. This is Wide Awake by Ronit. Readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Thanks to Ronit for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Little techno influence, little electronic, little electronica. So there you go, right there. Anyways, currently 44 minutes past as we are hanging out. So let's get into it. Let's talk real quick. A lot of stuff going on today. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the news, inside of the world of music, and still all kinds of stuff that we need to talk about. And to listen, it is that time to talk about the most important thing that we can ever talk about together. And that's about my friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones. And, of course, the best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. Or text the word TALK to 988. Or you can just call 988, and that will get everything moving and grooving for you. Listen, this conversation right here is probably one of the most influential conversations that we'll ever be able to have, and how important it is. So just keep that in mind as we are talking. 988lifeline.org. They have a chat box right there. They can help you out with anything that is going on. Keep that in mind as we are talking. What else do we have going on over here? Because that's going to be some important stuff to talk about, of course. So take a listen to this. I call that a big yes. 'Tis the season. Sony and vacation rental company Vacasa have teamed up to offer one courageous group of friends a getaway at the Ghostbusters Firehouse. Though the classic 1984 Halloween flick is basically based in New York City, this faithful reproduction is located in Portland, Oregon. The 3-story firehouse features all the essentials of the PKE meter, ghost traps, proton packs, an Aura video analyzer, and an Ektron containment unit to store the evil spirits that you might come across. The Ghostbuster vehicle is even parked in the firehouse bay. Guests are invited to wear famous Ghostbuster fight suits and snack on Stay Puft marshmallows and take part of other creepy activities. The immersive experience will take place between October the 28th through the 31st because, of course, it will. And if you're not brave enough to stay at the firehouse, you can still take part of the virtual tour of the rental listing. All you have to do is go to Vacasa, that's VACASA.com/unit/94642. That's Vacasa.com/unit/94642. So there you go. If it's the creepy activities you're looking for, you could also just read some of the recent headlines about Bill Murray. I mean, I think that would do the trick as well. And now that they've even remaking the Ghostbuster building, so that's another great thing that you could go out there and do. I wonder if it will only be a woman's cast there.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go, some stuff going on. Let's take a look around at some other stuff that is going on inside of the world of the news, because that is why we're here. We talked about the scissor hands, dude. Let's talk about this. A beta version of Biden's administration student loan forgiveness application is now available online. Trey Thomas has some more information.
The beta version of the application can be accessed at studentaid.gov. Applications submitted now will be used to help refine the process ahead of the official form launch. Those who submit their information using the beta version will have their information processed and will not have to resubmit. I'm Trey Thomas.
So I wonder what kind of influx of things you'll see when it comes to the beta version of it, because I'm sure people are going to be interested in moving forward with that. Anyways, take a listen to this. Authorities in Stockton, California are bringing relief to their community after taking a suspected serial killer off the streets. Police Chief Stanley McFadden says that officers likely prevented another attack.
He was out hunting. We are sure we stopped another killing.
The arrest was announced on Saturday after 43-year-old Wesley Brownlee was picked up armed with a gun. Police were able to locate Brownie thanks to a community tips and searching his home for more clues. 6 people were shot to death, 5 in Stockton, 1 in Oakland, in incidents dating back all the way to 2021. All they are tied with a single weapon. Police said that earlier this month it remains unclear if the victims were targeted. Greta Bauer, mother of Paul Alexander Yaw, who was killed in July, says that the arrest of the suspected killer brings mixed emotions.
I'm just grateful that they were able to save it from happening to another person and another family having to go through what we've gone through. It's just been horrific.
San Joaquin District Attorney Tori Salazar is promising to bring justice to the victims' families.
You don't come to our house and bring this kind of reign of terror.
So, a lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. Could you imagine that? I can't even fathom what some of the people are having to go through when it's all said and done with that. Just don't even know how it would come about. Anyways, parishioners in Chicago St. Sabina Church are standing by their senior pastor as he faces new sex abuse allegations. Reverend Tom Walsh and the parishioners showed their support for Father Michael Fletcher during yesterday's service.
Father Mike, I know you're watching. We love you. Go ahead and say that. We love you, Father Michael Fletcher.
Some parishioners even wore shirts among that "We Stand with Fletcher Fletcher." A man claims that he was sexually abused by him at St. Sabina back in the 1980s. The priest has stepped aside from the church duties pending an investigation. Pastor Mike was also sidelined from the ministry for several months last year after two adult brothers accused him of decades of abuse. He returned after a review panel concluded that there was insufficient reason to suspend Pastor Mike as guilty. The 73-year-old has denied the latest allegations. So there you go. Some interesting stuff always going on, it seems like, when it comes to that kind of stuff. I just don't know. When it comes to what is going on inside of the world. Let's talk about this one real quick. Shots were fired outside of Malcolm Mall Sunday afternoon in Michigan, and the police are looking for suspects. The shooting happened after an argument inside of the mall between two groups of people that had spilled into the parking lot, frightening shoppers like Lisa Richards says. Some info.
I just prayed quite a bit. I thought maybe today was going to be that day.
Roseville Police Chief Ryan Monroe says that one man fired into the air and might have aimed at one of the cars or even of the people involved. No arrests have been made. Shopper Lisa Richards was scared by the shooting outside of the Malcolm Mall.
It's a Sunday afternoon. People were in there trying to relax, and then something like this happens. And I thought to myself, we just can't go anywhere now without feeling safe.
Okay, 52 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell you about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Chad. William H. McRaven said, "Following is one of the most underrated aspects of leadership. I've seen many a good military unit underachieve because somebody thought the commander was incompetent and quietly worked to undermine his authority." What a great quote. I've witnessed this very same thing. I worked with an organization that was very disorganized. Several members would go their own way and do their own thing. This pretty much undermined the whole point of the group. That's like everybody in the same boat paddling their own way. You're not going anywhere. Put somebody in charge and then follow them. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. According to recent research, exercise can affect your unborn children's genes by altering the chemistry of DNA in sperm and egg cells. When we exercise deliberately and frequently, our genes behave differently. Even more surprising is that it is now understood children can inherit those changes, benefiting from them their entire lives. This is called transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, and it was first discovered in animals, but now we know it works for humans as well. Looking at genetic changes in sperm, 3 months of high-intensity aerobic exercise done twice per week was enough to see changes in paternally inherited genes involved in the risk of autism, Alzheimer's disease, OCD, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and atherosclerosis. For more information on wellness, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 54 minutes past. At the top of the hour, we will be going over to RadioBig.fm if you want to come and hang out and do the things that we do over there. Anyways, 2 winners, one from California and one from Florida, will split Friday's $494 million jackpot. There is also a $247.9 million cash payout option. Tuesday night's drawing will be for $20 million jackpot or a $10 million cash payout. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $480 million jackpot or a $242.2 million cash payout. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there if you want to take a linger on what is going on with those games. Anyways, if you're taking a look around and you're saying whose birth or what happened back on this date, let's take a look at some of the things that did happen. Back in 2015, football or soccer, superstar Cristiano Ronaldo becomes the Real Madrid all-time leading scorer. He hit the milestone with his 324th goal in a 3-0 win over Levante. The record was previously held by the club legend Raul. So there you go. If we're talking about some birthdays for today, let's take a look at some of those. Whitney Carson turns 29. Jacob Artis turns 30. Charles Oliveira turns 33. Matthew McFadden, 48. Eminem turns 50 today. Chris Kirkpatrick turns 51. Wyclef Jean, 53. Doug McMillan, 56. Rob Marshall, 62. Guy Henry, 62. Alan Jackson, 64. Mae Jemison turned 66. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, it's National Mulligan Day, International Day of Eradication Poverty, Forgive an X Day, Wear Something Gaudy Day, Spreadsheets Day. That would spread sheets, but it sounded like shit when I said it. National Clean Your Virtual Desktop Day, National Playing Card Collection Day, Black Poetry Day, and last but not least, it's National Pasta Day. And if you think about this, it's being Eminem's birthday and National Pasta Day. Is it all about his mama's spaghetti, as he talks about in some of his songs? It's kind of an interesting twist when you take a look at both of those things together. That is for sure. Anyways, let's take a look around real quick. If you want some whack facts, do you want some whack facts? I think we should do some whack facts real quick. Nutella was invented during World War II when an Italian pastry maker mixed hazelnut into chocolate to extend his chocolate ration. Drying fruit depletes it by 30 to 80% of its vitamins and antioxidant content. It would take about 33 million people holding hands to form a ring around the equator. Let's see, the highest record to fall without a parachute is 33,330 feet. In 1972, the victim was in the hospital for 16 months afterwards. Let's not test that one again. Michael Jackson's shiny glove was actually a modified golf glove. And in 2006, someone tried to sell New Zealand on eBay. The price was $3,000 before eBay shut it down. I would have bought it for $3,000, no doubt whatsoever. Anyways, let's take a look. If you need a random joke for today, dating in the ancient ritual were over a series of romantic dinners. You could work very hard to be fascinating, witty, and charming so that you would eventually get married and never speak to each other over dinner again. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. Today is Mulligan Day. What an embarrassing or regretful thing to have you done that you wish you could take a mulligan on. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question. In a survey, this was found to be the thing that annoys people the most about their coworkers. What is it? Their stinky food. So there you go. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what the hell we have going on here on the Rated R Safety Show. Like I said, you can come over to radiobig.fm. I'll be hanging out over there for the next couple hours or so, doing the stuff that we do over there. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. It is better to do something imperfectly than to do something falsely. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Something to think about. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what we have going on. Thank you for being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, because we could not do what we do here without you, the most important part, the listener. That is for sure. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.